I started taking drugs at a really young age. The alcohol came first. The smoking came first. If we're talking, any form of addiction that I've battled with. I started smoking, I was like 10 years old when I started smoking, so I was crazy young. But I'd been through quite a lot already by that age. I'd already experienced sexual abuse by the time I was that age, at school actually. And then I started smoking. By the time I got into secondary school, I was already drinking. I was already using alcohol as a coping mechanism. Home wasn't great, school was awful. So I was already at a point in my life, I was at age 11 or 12, and I was already using different things to cope with just getting by every day. By the time I sort of hit 14, I then experienced quite a lot of terrible things. I was raped when I was 14 by a man. I was taken out by two men, and one of them raped me. And then at that point was when I became fully addicted to alcohol. I relied on it heavily to cope, to block things out. I used it to numb things. I was smoking like 40 to 50 cigarettes a day, drinking alcohol all day. I'd drink at school, drink at home, and it was difficult, but it was never enough. Then I started smoking cannabis. I was about 15 when I started smoking cannabis. And I left home really, really young, which didn't help. I left home when I was 15 and had a very unstable time where I was sort of sleeping between addresses, sofa surfing. I was 18 by the time I got my own property. So I spent 3 years of not having a stable home, and sort of battling that homelessness. And then, unfortunately, I was raped again when I was 16. That was in my mum's bedroom, which was really hard. I wasn't living at home at the time, but my mum had left me, and that's when it happened. My mum found me. So that was I think that was probably one of the worst things I've ever been through. And that was, at that point, that was kind of a big switch, and I was drinking even more. I'd literally wake up in the morning and the first thing I'd do was start drinking and smoking cannabis, and then that wasn't enough anymore. So I started taking other drugs, and it just kind of snowballed, I think. From there, and it became my way of life until I was in my late 20s. So a long time. I didn't seek help until I was in my early 20s, mid to mid 20s.